Our system works, but it's not perfect, but it works.
Attorney General Leonardo Rapatis knows his office has taken a lot of hits in recent weeks as the community has expressed concerns about career criminals being released from jail and finding new victims to target. The concerns were highlighted following last month's home invasion in Petey that resulted in a woman being beaten and bound and left unconscious in her home. The man behind that brutal robbery, Raymond Tatautau, has been in and out of jail, never receiving a sentence of more than 1 year for the dozen times he's been arrested since 2002. Tatautau was just arrested in October of last year, accused of using a stolen credit card that was tied to the Crown Bakery kidnapping and sexual assault. Monique Baza spoke out earlier this week calling for more action to be taken to keep criminals behind bars. She said the home invasion could have been prevented, and she was never notified that the case against Tatautau had been dismissed without prejudice.
We have a standing operating procedures regarding victim contact and notice. For the most part, they're followed. And as I stated earlier, contact and notice is the rule, but that doesn't mean the rules weren't followed in some cases.
Rapatis met with Baza this week and her family, informing her that the man who kidnapped her would not be released. The AG says 95% of the 2,000 cases the office files each year are resolved before they go to trial. The other 4 to 5%, he says, are taken to trial whether there's enough evidence against the defendant or not. The 14 prosecutors in the office each have a caseload of between 400 to 500 cases.
High number of cases, low number of prosecutors and advocates. Those numbers are not excuses, but they help explain some of the practical reasons why in some cases, again, some cases, not all cases, they fall through the cracks.
Why aren't we keeping these career criminals who are constantly being arrested? Why isn't the AG's office doing more to make sure that these people stay behind bars?
For the most part, we do look at the history of defendants, and for the most part, we are attempting to keep career criminals behind jail. Sometimes judges actually telegraph their intention to release someone, and as a prosecutor, what can you do except fight it?
Whatever justification the Attorney General has, his problem is he hasn't communicated to the victims of crime properly. He's left them in the dark. His attorneys are not being respectful of the victims of crime and keeping them up to date on the status of the cases.
Former Senator and former Department of Public Safety Director Judy Guthert says she is disturbed by what's happening in our island community with crime on the rise, particularly violent crimes, especially against women and children.
We're not seeing an aggressive prosecution, in my opinion, and we're not seeing an aggressive sentencing pattern at the courts.
Guthert commends the work of the men and women of the Guam Police Department.
They go out there and they catch the suspects in these horrendous crimes, and they bring them in, and they file their reports, and they do their part. We don't want criminals taking control of our island. We don't want criminals changing the way we live.
The former senator also holds the judiciary responsible for releasing defendants or being too lenient during sentencing.
If the male judges in the court don't have enough grit to sentence these people to do time at DOC, then turn these cases of assault over to the women judges and let them take care of it. Because we, the women, are tired of this.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Mindy Egan.